we can come back into OBS, go to start streaming, click select existing event, and there we go. We have live. Whew. YouTube.
Okay, do I hear echo?
Existing event, and there we go. We have live. Whew. YouTube.
Okay, do I hear echo?
Existing event, and there we go. We have live. Whew. YouTube.
Hello.
Okay, do I hear echo?
Existing event, and there we go. We have live. Whew. YouTube.
Got excellent condition though. Hello.
Okay, do I hear echo?
Existing event, and there we go. We have live. Whew. YouTube.
Got excellent condition though. Hello.
Okay, do I hear echo?
Existing event, and there we go. We have live. Whew. YouTube.
Got excellent condition though. Hello. Check, check. Hello. Okay. I don't hear anything. All right. And now I need to see if I can get anything in the background. What is going on with my internet connection? Did you just do the Nani? Did you?
Yes, I did.
The anime,
I was trying to
bruh.
have my glasses reflect, but it didn't work.
Okay, yeah, I'm good. I'm Gucci. We are live and it's working, everybody. Believe it or not, it is working. Tripping off of that. Okay. If it ain't one problem, it's another, y'all. Yeah, I think I got my problem fixed. I got everything up and running. It looks all right. It could look better, but it looks all right. What is wrong with you? Perfect. All right. Yeah, we're working. It's working. Let's see how we sound. We'll go from there. Perfect. All right. Yeah, we're working. It's working. Yeah, we Gucci. Okay. Just trying to make sure that there isn't any buffering. And we go from there.
Today's story is about the real-life string of murders in the 19...
Excuse me. It's really amazing when I look at TikTok and this is what's happening.
Something in between that.
I am tripping. Yeah, it's actually working. We Gucci. Let's see how we looking. I need to fix the focus. My hair looks crazy. Can't even tell, man. My glasses are so dirty. I can't tell what's in focus and what's not. Then when I take the glasses off, my eyes suck. So there's that. It looks pretty good. Super bright. Okie dokie. Yeah, we're here. Let's see how many people actually show up. Squeeze me, did you just say over 107,000? Do I have 1,200 people following me? What the hell is happening? This is fucking bonkers. Okay. Okay. All right. Giggity gashniggity, y'all. Nobody's here. That's fine. Whew. Okay. Getting ready to watch some Mr. Baller on YouTube. Watching Mr. Ballin on YouTube. What's up, Hillbilly? Good to see you on the stream, man. I see I got everything going for the most part. We about to be watching some Mr. Ballin tonight. Did it even pop up your comment? Let me make sure I did this right. I went viral on TikTok today. Hillbilly, 100,000 views. 100,000 views. I was tripping. And it's still climbing. Oh. What up? Welcome to the chat. I'm about to watch some Mr. Ballin on YouTube. Oh, you just tweeted it out? Appreciate you. Sure. What's up? What is happening here? It's a very pretty cat. It did turn red. I appreciate that, Hillbilly. I'm up on YouTube right now, about to watch some spooky stuff. When'd you hit 1,000? When'd you hit 1,000 followers? Yeah, I'm not comfortable with the movement underneath that blanket, so yeah, nah. Yeah, nah. There was some weird stuff happening on TikTok. You got me on TikTok balling? Yeah, man. People do tend to pop off. They do. Let me get everything together. We ain't got Buff here right now, so about to that about there. And then we'll do this. The schniggity. Let's see how that look. I might go ahead and do this. Make a quick adjustment. There we go. Yeah, man, I'm still trying to save the channel. You know what's up. You already know what's going on. What's up, Lawrence? Yeah, man. They don't like it when you talk a certain way. I have noticed that they be on us. They be on us, like for real. All right. Got some nice little music in the background. I have not had a chance to check IG. The only person that's been checking IG has been Buff right now. I've been just trying to focus on the technical stuff, get everything going.
Covered
Like I
a
said, I'm
giant
really surprised
slab.
that video ended up taking off.
Put it
on
the fuck
TikTok.
back.
It caught me by
Put
surprise.
it back. Put
I mean,
it
I'm
back.
ugly in
Put
real
it back.
life,
We ain't
you know
doing
what I
this
mean?
shit again. Put it back. Put that shit back right now. Put that shit the fuck back.
Okay. My computer is moving dumb slow. I'm about to send out a post on Facebook and let people know that we're going live tonight. Trying to save the channel still. We're gonna watch so I got something for you. So tonight we watching the Psycho that inspired the Scream movies. Mr. Ballin just dropped this not too long ago, so I don't know. I'm hoping I can get a couple of people to come in. That would make me happy if I could do that. Happy to see you here though, man. What you doing up so late, Hillbilly? We got people popping in, popping out. Hi, people. How's it going? I'm also up on YouTube right now. Hashtag BuffTub on YouTube. Hi, how you doing? Is it Rika? Sorry, I look like a complete bum. Normally, I got my hair cut. I wasn't expecting for anything to go anywhere remotely viral. Well, nice to meet you, Rika. My name is Chubbington III. I'm your skinny deficient homie. Otherwise known as Tavares. The video that got so many views today on TikTok is at over 100,000 views. I'm tripping. If you want to, we're watching spooky stuff tonight on my actual YouTube channel. It's on my page. If you go to my page and you click the YouTube link, it'll be right there. And you can come check out Mr. Ballin tonight. We're about to go ahead and do that. I'm gonna get ready to record it, upload it on the video, let everybody know. You know, y'all could be a part of it. Appreciate you liking the stream, by the way, Hillbilly. It's only 9 there? Bruh, it's 11:16 where I'm at. It's late. I gotta push this YouTube and then wake up and get my daughter to actually finish up her science project. But you know, the life of somebody who's trying to not just have to work a 9 to 5. Some people get lucky, some people don't. I'm not one of the ones that got lucky. That's okay though. I love what I do. You got to keep on pushing, man. Only person in charge of your dreams is you, honestly. You the only one that's going to be able to accomplish them. Can't nobody else do it for you. It's 12:16 there? Yeah, I'm in the Midwest. Yeah, we're trying to get donations to the YouTube channel. Trying to save our YouTube member partnership, YouTube partnership. I tell people if they can donate, great. If they can't, that's fine as well. Like, only do what you can do. You know? I'm not gonna get mad at nobody if they don't want to come out of pocket. Even if I lose my YouTube partnership, I ain't going nowhere. This is what I want to do with my life. Hillbilly knows. Hillbilly been part of the game for a minute. All right, Hillbilly, we've been going for about 26 minutes. So I don't know if you're going to stick it out for the whole one, but I am going to record it. So if you want to come check the video later, you can. I'm about to get ready to get going with this reaction / review. And it's going to be Mr. Ballin's This Psycho Inspired the Scream movies. I'm a little bit excited about that. Y'all get to see from the side like what it's like for me to record a YouTube channel. This is my first time doing this on TikTok. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. Y'all ready? We about to get up into this. Okay. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. I am your skinny deficient homie, Chubbington III. And if I ever get to 100 million subs, I will buy you tacos. Right now, we live, man. We had a whole video go viral on TikTok. So if y'all ain't checking out the TikTok, man, y'all need to do that. I'm going to post a little picture right around here. You know what I mean? Y'all go check that out. It's Chubb, your skinny deficient homie. You know what I mean? So today, Halloween coming up. I figured let's do some more spooky stuff. I've been feeling that, you know? And honestly, Mr. Ballin ain't really ever let us down. So let's see what we got from Mr. Ballin tonight. So what I got for y'all, it's called This Psycho Inspired Scream. As always, link in the description. And this video will be for mature audiences only. So I will be putting that in the description as well. But without further ado, my buff chubby and friends, are y'all ready to react? Sorry, I lost my voice. I've been going live every day for the past 4 days trying to save the channel. So if you're seeing this for the first time, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get ready to get up into this. So, buff chubbyons, let's react.
Today's story is about the real-life
Oh, and an honorary shout out to Miss Rika. She one of the first people to actually talk to me on the live. If you do end up seeing this, like, you can go check out my TikTok. I'm gonna start going live on that as well. If not, we always post here. Don't forget to hit the bell. That's the best way to know. We still trying to grow to 5K subs. So, you know, if you want to help us out, we always welcome new buff chubbians. All right, let's get into it. Mr. Ballin, This Psycho Inspired Scream. Let's go. And like I said, y'all, if y'all wanna watch along as well,
that inspired
come on over and just click on my thing,
graphic
and you can just click on the YouTube link in my profile and come check out
today's story. If you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place, because that's all we do, and we upload 1 or 2 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please hide outside.
Okay.
Hide outside of the like button's house while they are watching Game 7 of the World Series, and anytime the game starts to get good, change the channel with your universal remote. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's story.
Hold up real quick. Hey, Hillbilly, can you hear okay? Oh, look, Rika's in the chat. Hi, Rika, welcome. Can you guys hear everything okay, though? Is it coming through the speakers all right? Am I blowing your ears out at all? Everything good? I know it tends to do this whenever I get to trying to watch a video.
On Sunday, August 26th, 1990, a 56-year-old woman named Patricia Powell and her husband, Frank, pulled into a parking lot right outside of this beautiful 3-story apartment complex in Gainesville, Florida. Gainesville is this beautiful little town in northern Florida that is home to the massive University of Florida, which is known for their big-time football team and their big-time college party scene. Patricia and Frank's daughter, 17-year-old Christine, was going to be a freshman that year at the University of Florida. Florida. And apparently she had been so excited after getting her acceptance letter that her dad, Frank, had gone out and got a gold necklace for her
yeah.
that had the school's
Sound
mascot,
is
an
good.
alligator, dangling from it. And Christine wore it all the time. 2 days earlier, Christine and her new roommate, 18-year-old Sonia Larson, the two had actually met over the summer when they took some summer classes together. They had actually already come to Gainesville, and they had moved in to this white apartment complex that Patricia and Frank were now parked outside of. And after unpacking some of their things in their apartment, Christine and Sonia had left and gone into town and grabbed a bite to eat at a local restaurant. And then afterwards,
Dana, do me a favor. Go click on my profile and hit my the YouTube button in my profile and come join us in chat. We watching spooky movies or spooky shows tonight. I'm watching about the psycho that inspired the Scream movies tonight. Come on and come join, man. And if you want to hit the sub, go ahead and hit the sub. If you don't want to, I don't hold that against anybody. All right, I ain't going to keep on pausing. Yeah, of course, Florida, right? Of course, Florida. Thank you. Someone else said that. Of course, Florida. It's always Florida that these psychopaths are coming from. Dude, I think it has something to do with the fact that there are entire dinosaurs that they live around. Like, Florida is the Australia of America. I've realized that. Spooky, but okay. Give me a second. All right. All right, let's keep going. Florida. Of course it's Florida. Of course it's Florida.
Christine had used a payphone to call back home and tell her parents how well it was going and how much she already enjoyed her roommate and how excited she was for the year. And she told Patricia and Frank that she would call them the following day. But the following day came and went, and Patricia and Frank did not hear from their daughter. And they had no way to actually call her because she had not set up her landline in her apartment. But Patricia and Frank, they told each other that, of course, everything was fine. You know, she just got to college, she's excited, she's probably out having a good time, and she just forgot to call. And anyways, Patricia and Frank had already planned a visit to see their daughter in Gainesville the next day, which was Sunday. And so fast forward back to that Sunday, and Patricia and Frank are now parked outside of their daughter's apartment complex. They still haven't heard from her, but they're still telling themselves everything's fine, she's probably just busy. And so they get out of their car and they walk over to the building, and they go through one of the front access doors that brings them into the building. They find themselves inside of this carpeted stairwell where at every level on the way up, there were doors leading off to each of the apartments. They made their way up to the second level where they knew their daughter's apartment was, and they walk up to her door, and before they even knock or turn the doorknob or anything, they notice on the door there are all these notes, these handwritten notes that have been taped all over it. And they read a couple of them, and they were notes from some of Christine and Sonia's friends on campus that apparently had tried to stop by over the last weekend, but had not been able to make contact with Christine or Sonia. And so these notes said things like, hey, Christine, you know, we came over to try to get you to come out with us, but you didn't come to the door, so we left without you. Sorry, you know, give us a call when you get in. And so obviously the parents are totally worried given the circumstances. They don't know where their daughter is. They've been telling themselves everything is fine, and now these notes make it seem like everything is not fine. But the parents, they keep their cool, and they just start knocking on the door and calling out for their daughter. But there's no answer. And so Patricia and Frank, they start to panic at this point, and they leave the carpeted stairwell.
Of course
they
they
go
panic.
outside, and they find a maintenance worker that works for.
Can you imagine how scary that is to send your child off to college? Especially back then when they didn't have cell phones and stuff, right? It's like you don't know like what could happen. And that's the scary part. Like that's the part that a lot of people act like don't exist. That still happens nowadays, man. Even with cell phones and stuff. Like it's spooky, dude. And it don't be monsters and you know stuff like that. It be humans doing this to other humans. It's so messed up. It's so messed up, man. I couldn't imagine. I got 2 daughters. I'd go crazy. Rika says she moved from Florida because it's only crazy people there. Wow. Okay. Let's keep going, man. That's crazy. That's
this
crazy.
building, and they explain their situation with their daughter and how they can't get in touch with her, and can he please let them in to make sure she's okay. The maintenance worker said he couldn't without speaking to his manager, and so he goes to his manager, and the manager, she says that's fine, but we need to get the police involved. They need to escort us into the apartment. And so the maintenance worker calls the police and requests this escort, and a few minutes later, a single Gainesville police officer arrives at the apartment complex. And he tells Patricia and Frank that just as a precaution, I need you guys to stay outside.
What up? What up? Welcome to the live stream. Hey, go ahead and hit the YouTube button in my profile. It's right next to my name, and you can come join us live on the Buff Chubb channel. We watching Mr. Ballin tonight.
So they stay right outside those front access doors. They're outside of the apartment building. And then this officer, along with the maintenance worker and the manager of the building, those three, they go inside the stairwell, they go up to the second floor. And at that point, the maintenance worker gets out his keys, he finds the right one, and he opens Christine and Sonia's door. The door swings open, and immediately the police officer yells out for the two girls, but there's no answer. And so the officer is first into the apartment, which basically immediately opens up to their living room. And in the middle of the living room is a couch that's angled towards the right side of the room where a TV had been set up. And so the officer, again, as he walks in, he's calling out, trying to get the girl's attention, but there's no answer. Behind him is the maintenance worker and the building manager. And they begin making their way towards the right side of the living room, over towards that TV, to see if maybe someone was laying on the couch. And as they round that corner and can finally actually see the front of the couch, the maintenance worker, after seeing what he saw, screams out and runs out of the apartment. He runs down the stairs, out the access doors, and begins vomiting on the grass and sobbing right next to Frank and Patricia.
So you know
Naturally,
he saw something
Frank and
messed
Patricia,
up.
after seeing this, are immediately concerned
know
that
he saw
something's
something
wrong with
messed
their
up.
daughter. And so they run inside, they go up the stairs, and they start running into the apartment. And the police officer and the building manager, they try to stop them from getting in, but there was nothing stopping them. They managed to push past those two. They get into the living room and they're calling out for their daughter, and eventually they make their way over to the side of the couch and they see their daughter, Christine. She is lying on the ground in front of the couch. She's on her back, she has no clothes on, and she's been stabbed to death. And whoever has killed her has positioned her in this very suggestive, sexual, lewd position, as if they were trying to demean her as much as possible and shock whoever found her. And so after these totally devastated and wrecked parents are escorted out of the apartment, this one police officer, he continues searching the apartment.
I couldn't even imagine, man. I'm going to go check on my child that I sent to college, and I find out that some sick stuff like that happened to her. Man, that'll break any parent's heart, man. That'll break any parent's heart. And again, like I said, you got to keep in mind, these are human beings. Hey, you found it. Welcome, Dana Bana. Dude, I am tripping though. I can't believe that this happened. And it's always Florida. It's always Florida, y'all. It's always Florida. It's never not Florida. Like, I mean, sometimes Atlanta, maybe. Sometimes Nevada, California, that's got some bad stuff. But Florida be having some stuff going on. I don't know what's up with Florida.
So he searches the rest of the first floor. There's no sign of Sonia. He goes upstairs and he finds Sonia. She's laying on her bed. She also has no clothes on. She's been stabbed to death, and she's positioned on the side of the bed in a sort of suggestive, lewd position, much like Christine downstairs. It would later be determined that Christine had been sexually assaulted, but Sonia had not been. The officer at this point leaves the apartment. He goes outside. He walks past the grieving parents who are being consoled by the building manager and the maintenance worker, and the officer goes over to his car and he uses his radio to call in for backup. A forensics team comes out to the apartment and they begin processing the scene, and right away they discover on the outside of the door frame of the door leading into the apartment, there were markings on the edge that looked like someone had used a screwdriver or some similar instrument to pop open the door. They also found there was a towel and some soap that was lying on the ground near Christine's body and near the couch that had apparently been used to both clean Christine's body and also clean some other parts of the apartment. And so they believe this was done to try to intentionally destroy evidence, suggesting the killer or killers
that definitely was done to
sophisticated.
destroy
They
evidence.
also discovered there was some residue on Christine's wrists that indicated at some
100%. 100%. And everything that we're hearing so far, it just tells me that this wasn't his first time. That's what that tells me.
point, her hands had been bound by duct tape. But when she was found, her hands were not bound and there was no duct tape from her wrists. And so whoever had done this had at some point removed the duct tape and taken it away. And so investigators believed that the killer or killers had used the duct tape to immobilize Christine for the attack. And then after she was deceased, they had removed that tape in order to be able to get her arms up over her head, which seemed to increase the shock value of this lewd position they had put her in. Based on what they saw inside of this apartment, the police were convinced they were up against a group of killers or a killer that had targeted these two girls, that this was not some random attack, that this was calculated, this was on purpose, and if they didn't get caught, they were going to strike again. And so even though the police really didn't have any leads to operate on, they just had this crime scene and they were looking for maybe someone with duct tape and a knife and a screwdriver. I mean, that was really about it at this point. And so even though they have virtually nothing, because there were thousands and thousands of young people flooding Gainesville for the start of the new school year at the University of Florida, literally the following day, Monday, classes were starting. Because of all these young people in town, the police felt it was very important that they got the media to put out a bulletin to all these people in town that there was potentially a killer or killers on the loose. And so that night, Sunday evening, this news bulletin goes out and it basically just told residents of Gainesville to stay indoors and stay in groups. And if you needed to go outside, travel in groups, and just overall stay vigilant until we figure out who did this. 12 hours before Christine Powell and Sonia Larson were discovered, an 18-year-old Gainesville woman named Krista Hoyt did not show up for work. Krista was a student at Santa Fe Community College, which was right down the road from the University of Florida. That year, she was planning to transfer to the University of Florida, and then after graduation, she wanted to pursue a career in forensics with the FBI. And so given her interest in law enforcement, while she was a student, she had gotten a part-time job working in the records department of the sheriff's office. And apparently, at this sheriff's office, she was famous for always coming to work, no matter what, including the time that she got her wisdom teeth removed, and then an hour after coming home, she showed up for work. And so on this Saturday night, when Krista was supposed to be showing up for work, and she didn't call ahead, and no one could get in touch with her on her landline, everybody at the sheriff's office was really concerned. And so they waited around for about an hour, hoping that she might just show up with some story about why she was late. But she never showed up, she didn't call, they still couldn't get in touch with her. And so in the very early hours of Sunday morning, the sheriff's office called the Gainesville police and asked them to do a welfare check on Krista. And so 2 police officers from the Gainesville Police Department, they show up at the apartment belonging to Krista Hoyt. Krista lived alone, and she lived about 2 miles away from Christine Powell and Sonia Larson. And so these 2 officers, they get there and they walk up to the front door and they knock, but there's no answer. And they try the doorknob, it's locked. And so one of the officers walks around to the back of this apartment and he sees there's a glass sliding door. And so he knocks on the glass sliding door, there's no answer. He tries the door, it's locked. And then he notices the drape that's inside the apartment that's covering up this sliding glass door. It reaches almost to the ground, but not all the way. There's a couple of inches on the bottom where if you were laying on the ground, you could actually look through this little space and see into the apartment. And so that's what he does. He lies down and he puts his flashlight up and he looks through this couple-inch gap on this window. And as soon as the light illuminates what's inside of this apartment, he finds Krista. Krista is sitting on the edge of a bed that's not that far away from the sliding glass door, and she's facing the door. She's kind of hunched over at the edge of the bed. She's got no clothes on, and she's got stab marks all over her back, and she's missing her head. And her head was next to the bed to the left, up on the shelf, and it was positioned in such a way that it almost appeared like the head was looking down at the detached body. When this crime scene was processed, the forensic...
That's so dark. That's so dark, man. Could you imagine someone really like being that demented? That's so fucking dark. Whoa.
Team immediately noticed there were marks on the backsliding glass door where someone had used probably a screwdriver or something similar to pop the door open. And then they also found residue of duct tape on Krista's wrists, but the duct tape was gone. She was found with her hands not bound. It would later be determined that Krista had been sexually assaulted before she had been murdered.
Right,
the obvious
right.
similarities between Krista's crime scene and Christine and Sonia's crime scene were initially only recognized by Gainesville police because much of the information about the two crime scenes was not public. But that night, Sunday evening, when the police went to the media and asked them to put out that bulletin to all Gainesville residents to say that there could be a killer or killers on the loose, it didn't take long for residents of Gainesville and news anchors to begin speculating that you have these two murders that have happened really close together physically. They're less than 2 miles apart, and they've probably occurred within the last 24, 48 hours. So they've happened in rapid succession. They're both unsolved. And so even without intimate details of the crime scene, it wasn't hard to say, I think these two are probably connected. And so that night, Sunday evening, Gainesville really went into a state of panic. And within hours of this news, you had stores all over Gainesville that had sold out their deadbolts and locks, their mace, their stun guns, their baseball bats, their actual guns, their knives. I mean, people were really trying to arm themselves to protect themselves against this unknown threat that was murdering students in Gainesville. And the police, even though they did not come out and substantiate the claims that, perhaps these two homicides are connected, they did believe they were. And so that night, Sunday night, as all this chaos is kind of unfolding in town, the police put hundreds of officers all over the place, on foot on every street corner. They had police cars and trucks parked all over the place. I mean, the entire town was on an extreme heightened alert because the police believed another attack was imminent. And so all they could do was try to come out in force to try to discourage the killer or killers from striking again. But as it would turn out, it didn't work. By the following morning, so Monday morning, what was happening in Gainesville had gone from just being a Florida story to a national story, and everybody all over the country was talking about it. And one woman named Lisa Byers, who was in her 20s, she did not live in Gainesville, but she had a very close friend who did. She was 23-year-old Tracy Paulus. Tracy had taken some years off from college, but that year had decided to go back and give it another go. And so she was enrolled at the University of Florida. And so Lisa called Tracy and said, hey, I'm watching the news. This is crazy what's happening in your town.
Sorry. You said this is why you have an alarm system, a hard lock, and a wooden thick bar on a sliding door. I get that. I get that, man. And honestly, that's one thing about America. We can protect ourselves. You know what I mean? We can, dude. And we will. Because you ain't going to take us without a fight. That's a guarantee. That is a guarantee. But that's how you have to be. That's how you have to be, man. And you cute too? Oh yeah. Already know you gotta protect yourself. It's crazy out here.
You holding up? And Tracy would tell her that, I'm just as concerned as everybody else. It's terrifying to think there are killer or killers on the loose, but I think I'm okay because I have my roommate. Tracy's roommate was 23-year-old Manny Taboda, who was this big, strong former football player who was very close with Tracy. The two had never dated, but they had been very good friends for a number of years. And he too had taken some time off of school and had agreed to go back because Tracy had convinced him, come back, get your degree with me, and we'll live together. And so when the news broke about these killings happening in their town, Manny had told Tracy that he would protect her, that nothing would happen to her. And so when Lisa heard this from Tracy, that she thought that she was okay because she has Manny and, he'll look after her, and they were not planning to really leave the apartment much besides classes, Lisa was reassured, but she was still worried. And so she told Tracy, please give me a call this evening after you come back from classes just to let me know that everything is okay. And so Tracy said she would, and then they hung up. And then that evening, Tracy did not call Lisa back. And so Lisa tried calling.
He does look suspicious. I was thinking the same thing. He looks suspicious. And I don't know if you've noticed, but all the women that were getting killed look very similar to the girl or the woman that he's only been friends with. You know what I mean? That's some people, they off in the head. That's why you always got to look out. He does look suspicious though.
Tracy, but No one picked up. And so that night, Lisa went to bed. She was very worried, but she went to sleep. And then early the next morning, which was Tuesday morning, she tried calling Tracy again, but there was no answer. And so Lisa reached out to a mutual friend of theirs that lived in the same apartment complex in Gainesville. His name was Tommy. And so she asked Tommy, can you please go over to Tracy's apartment and make sure she and Manny are okay? And so Tommy said, no problem. I'll give you a call from Tracy's landline once I talk to her.
Right.
So about 5 minutes later, Tracy got a call. She picked it up, and it was Tommy calling from Tracy's landline, and he was just screaming. When the police arrived at Tracy's apartment, they found Tracy in her bedroom, and like the other victims, she had no clothes on. She was positioned on the side of the bed in a very suggestive, lewd position. She had been stabbed to death, and it would turn out she had been sexually assaulted. And then down the hall from Tracy, they found Manny. He was in his bed, and he too had been stabbed to death, except he had his clothes on and he was not positioned in a suggestive position. He had kind of died wherever he was, and that was the position they found him in. The forensics team, when they...
Rika, me and you owe that man an apology, Rika. We owe that man an apology because we sure enough said it was him. Yeah, nah, he got killed too. Ooh-wee. So I wonder if they actually caught this person. Because, you know, there's a lot of serial killers that end up getting away. As creepily as it is.
They processed the scene. They found markings on the outside of the back sliding door where it looked like someone had used a screwdriver to pop open the door. And then on Tracy's wrists, they found that residue from duct tape, but there was no duct tape. It had been removed. At this point, to the police, it was undeniable that they were up against a serial killer or killers. And when the news broke that there was now a fourth and fifth victim, and they were both college students, and one of them was now this big strapping man that apparently was taken down just as easily as these other four petite women, this threw Gainesville into an absolute state of pandemonium. Suddenly, it felt like no one could protect them. The people in Gainesville, they were fair game. It didn't matter that police were out in force in the streets and you had people walking around with guns and baseball bats and mace, and you had people locking their doors and sleeping in groups. It was like no measures were actually stopping these killings from happening. Whoever was doing it was killing with impunity. And so that day, Tuesday, you had hundreds and hundreds of students from the University of Florida just leaving the school who just didn't come back. And as for the police, they called in the FBI and the National Guard. And so by that night, Tuesday night, there were literally hundreds of officers and state police officers all over the place. There were helicopters overhead, both police helicopters and news helicopters with spotlights. They had National Guard military-style trucks all over the place. And so Gainesville was really at the highest alert you could possibly be on. But even still, the people of Gainesville, they were not going to feel safe until the police made an arrest. And the next day, just 24 hours after Tracy and Manny had been found, the police did just that. After receiving dozens and dozens of tips about one particular individual, they were able to arrest 19-year-old Ed Humphreys, who was a freshman at the University of Florida. They arrested him for domestic abuse because he had actually struck his grandmother in the face. And so they pick him up for domestic abuse, but they set his bail at a whopping $1 million, which is way higher than you would normally expect for a domestic abuse charge. But this was a unique circumstance where he was being arrested for one thing, but really he was being looked at as the suspect of these five.
I mean, if you look at him, I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but if you look at him, I mean, come on, man. If he ain't the one that did it, it's going to be some blue collar dude. But he looking mighty guilty now. He looking mighty guilty. Here's a random question. Would you rather fight a chicken every time you get in your car or fight one orangutan with a sword randomly once a year? You don't know if that sword gonna do shit to that orangutan. I'd fight the chicken. I'd fight the chicken. Plus free dinner. Just saying.
homicides. And so the police really needed him to stay behind bars. And this massive bail, that did that. He had no way to pay it. And so while Ed was behind bars, the police began investigating him, and they found there was a lot of reasons to believe he was the serial killer. He had shown he was willing to be violent because, after all, he punched his grandmother in the face, and people that knew him said he was totally mentally unstable and that he hated women and that he would walk around with a knife on his belt basically all the time. And at night, he was known to walk around the forests of Gainesville. There were these very thick forests that kind of butted up against the University of Florida. And he would walk through the forest at night, which put him very close to the different apartment buildings where all the victims were found. And on top of all that, Ed Humphreys just looked like what you would imagine a serial killer would look like. He had all these deep scars all over his face, and his eyes looked totally hollow, like he was permanently on drugs.
Yeah.
And he was seen smiling at the cameras when he was led in and out of the courtroom. And to make him even more suspicious, as soon as he was arrested, the attack stopped. There were no more slayings in Gainesville. And so naturally, the country believed Ed was the guy. Basically, everyone thought Ed was the guy. But it came back that his blood type was type A, and the killer or killer's blood type, the blood that had been found at the various crime scenes, was type B. Now, this did not clear Ed of guilt because people believed there was a chance that, he could have been involved in some way. Perhaps he had an accomplice or multiple accomplices. But when this news broke, pretty much everybody was back on edge because clearly there's at least one or more killers that are still on the loose. Shortly after this blood type discrepancy presented itself, the FBI approached the Gainesville police and said, hey, why don't you use our VCAP program? VCAP stands for Violent Crime Apprehension Program. And what it was this computer program where it allowed investigators to input details of their crime they were investigating. And when they submitted it, it would be compared against this huge database of other crimes in the country. And if there were any similarities with any other crime, those similar crimes would get popped on screen. And so when the Gainesville police input the information from these 5 student slayings in Gainesville, the computer program spit out a single match. It was from an unsolved triple homicide in 1989 in Shreveport, Louisiana, which is a town located about 800 miles to the northwest of Gainesville. Shreveport, back in the late 1980s, was considered so safe by its residents that many of them didn't lock their front doors and they would leave their car keys just sitting on their front dash. But in 1989, that would all change. On Friday, November 3rd of that year, 8-year-old Sean Grissom was dropped off at his grandfather's house in Shreveport. He was there to celebrate his 8th birthday. And so his grandfather was this 56-year-old man named Tom who was divorced, and he was getting ready to retire soon, and he was also trying to spend more time with his grandson. And so he was very excited about having Sean over. Also staying at this house with Sean and his grandfather was Sean's aunt, 24-year-old Julie Grissom, who was a college student. She was attending Louisiana State University in Shreveport. When Sean was dropped off by his mother at his grandfather's house, the grandfather, Tom, yelled out to the boy's mother and said, I'll have him back by Monday. I'll drop him off, see you later. And so Sean's mother, she leaves, and that day and the following day, she doesn't hear from Sean's grandfather or from Julie. And so come Sunday night, she tries calling them to, see what's going on. She knows they're having a great time and doesn't really want to interrupt them, but she also hasn't heard from them. But they don't pick up. She convinces herself that everything is just fine, that I'm sure there's an explanation, and so she ends up going to bed. And so the next morning, Monday morning, when Sean is supposed to be dropped off early enough that she can take him to school, when he doesn't show up, the mother calls the grandfather back and tries to get in touch and figure out what's going on, but she can't get in touch with him. And so she's telling herself that,
not another kid, man. I hope that little boy all right.
okay, well, his grandfather must have just dropped him off at school. And so the mother calls Sean's school, and the school says, no, we have not seen Sean today, and we haven't heard from him, so we don't know what's going on. And so now Sean's mother is terrified. She calls the police, and the police actually get in touch with the neighbor of Tom Grissom, and they ask this neighbor, hey, can you go next door and just make sure Tom and Sean and Julie are okay? And so this neighbor...
Wait a minute. So they contacted the police. There's been a serial killer on the loose. Yes, I get it's 800 miles away, but there's been a serial killer on the loose. You found out that the serial killer's blood relates to some killings, a triple murder that happened in your city, and you asked the neighbor to go check on him instead of sending patrol cars. Y'all just was trying to traumatize people back in the 80s. Come on, man. Seriously? What the heck?
Neighbor says no problem. They leave their house, and immediately they notice, as they're looking at Tom's house, that the 2 cars in the driveway had not left since Friday. It was just something the neighbor noticed. And then they also noticed that there were 2 newspapers at the end of the driveway. It was the Monday and Sunday paper. And they knew Tom always read the newspaper, and so the idea that he would just leave them sitting at the end of the driveway, that didn't really add up. And so the neighbor walks around to the front door, and they notice there are lights on inside, and they knock on the front door, but there's no answer. They try the front door, but it's locked. And so they end up going around to the very back of the house, and they're able to get into the house through the garage. And then through the garage, they open another door that leads into the main part of the house. And this neighbor they immediately see on the ground towards the back door near the kitchen is Tom. He's laying on the ground, and he's obviously deceased. And so this neighbor, they run out, they call the police. The police come back over, they go inside the house, and sure enough, they find Tom Grissom has been stabbed to death. He's laying on the ground near the back door. They find Sean Grissom, the 8-year-old. He's slouched over on the couch in front of the TV, and he's been stabbed to death as well. And then upstairs, they found 24-year-old Julie, the aunt, and she was positioned on the edge of the bed in this very suggestive way. She had no clothes on, and she had been stabbed to death, and it would later be determined she had also been sexually assaulted before she was killed. And they also discovered there's vinegar on her body, as if whoever's done this has attempted to clean her with vinegar. There was no sign of a robbery in the house or ransacking in the house. There was no sign of forced entry. Overall, the investigators said this was a very neat crime scene, as if whoever did this had done this with great intentionality. And so after kind of going through the crime scene, the police really didn't have any leads to go off of. And so this crime went unsolved. And so as these Gainesville police are looking at this report in this VCAP computer system, and they're reading about this unsolved triple homicide, all they can think about is how unbelievably similar the crime scene was to all the crime scenes of the student slayings. Specifically, that Julie had been arranged in this kind of suggestive pose like the other female victims in Gainesville. And on top of that, it was determined that the blood type of the killer in Shreveport was type B, same as the killer or killers in Gainesville. So there was a match in the blood type. Somehow, after this discovery through this VCAP program, the media found out about this Shreveport unsolved triple homicide.
That's what I'm saying, Rika. I don't get why the child, like, that's so messed up. This person is messed up. Like, if you've ever seen the Scream movies, it was some demented stuff, you know what I mean? Like, not as demented as it can get with horror movies nowadays, but I've always said the real killers are more scary. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, that poor kid did not deserve that. That family didn't deserve that. This is a sick person. I hope they finally caught him.
Homicide, and how apparently it was incredibly similar to all these slayings that have taken place in Gainesville. And so before long, that was all every news network all over the United States was talking about. And at first, the police in Gainesville and anybody involved in this investigation was very upset about this because one, they probably had a leak that someone was giving information to the press, but two, the press was kind of jeopardizing their investigation because by having these details leaked, the killer or killers could potentially benefit from kind of knowing what the police were thinking about and what they were up to. But as it would turn out, this particular leak would prove to be quite fruitful. Shortly after this news about the Shreveport killing and the student slayings was all over the news, this woman named Cindy, who lived in Shreveport, she called the police after watching all the news like everybody else and told the police they really ought to look at this guy, Danny Rawling. Danny Rawling
I called it. I said it was a blue collar dude. If it wasn't the one dude that looked like a murderer, it was a blue collar, average looking worker guy. I had a feeling. It's always those ones that snap. It's always those ones that snap. It's not always the person that you think it's going to be. Sometimes it's that person that you would least expect. This is crazy.
this 37-year-old drifter who was in Shreveport at the time of the Grissom family murders in 1989. And apparently after those murders, he had told Cindy's husband that he, quote, had a problem, and his problem was he liked stabbing people. And Danny literally always walked around with a huge knife on his.
This motherfucker keeps on doing his music. The music is the creepiest part of this right now. I could sit here and listen to this story without the music in the background and it wouldn't be super creepy. But I'm in my basement recording this right now and I am freaked the fuck out. But I'm gonna keep going for the channel. I'm doing it for the channel, man. It's gonna be a good video to upload. But dear Lord, I am freaked out. I am freaked out right now, like for real. Do I got this set to the? There it is. I was wondering why this didn't sound right. Yeah, I'm utterly and completely freaked out right now. Like, this is crazy.
Waist. He seemed totally mentally unstable. And so this claim that he liked stabbing people, Cindy and her husband took literally and basically told him to stay away from them. And so in one of their last conversations with Danny actually told Cindy that he planned to leave Shreveport and go someplace where there's lots of beautiful young women that he can just stare at all day long. When police asked Cindy, do you think he's capable of killing all 8 of these people? She said, oh yeah. And so the police turned their attention to Danny and began researching his background, and they discovered he was raised in a very abusive household. Specifically, his father really couldn't stand him. They had a really bad relationship. And then when Danny got old enough, he joined the Air Force, but he was kicked out after 2 years for being mentally unstable. And once he was discharged, he began the string of armed robberies in the 1980s, and he eventually got caught and spent the bulk of the 1980s in prison. And then in 1989, when he got out of prison, he came back to Shreveport and moved in with his parents. Now, this was not a happy homecoming. His parents did not want him living with them, but Danny kind of forced the issue. He had nowhere else to go, and so he wound up living there. And as it happened, they lived less than a half-mile away from the Grissom family home. 6 months after the Grissom family was murdered, and 3 months before the Gainesville student slayings had begun, Danny gets in this huge fight with his father, where his father actually draws a pistol and forces Danny to leave the house and tells him to never come back. And so Danny, he runs out of the house and he gets his gun from his vehicle, comes back inside his house and shoots his father point blank in the head and then in the stomach before fleeing the scene. His father would amazingly survive this attack despite some pretty significant damage to his head, and he would tell the
Hey yo, I'm down with the prayers, Hassan. I'm down with the prayers because that's some demonic shit right there. That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, amen. We gonna finish this out. But ooh-wee. And then they ended up making a movie based on this. That just shows you, man, Hollywood don't care. They just want to make a quick buck.
police, and before long, there was a warrant for Danny's arrest for attempted murder. But when they went to go arrest him, he was gone. They had no idea where he went. And so as the Gainesville police are looking at Danny's criminal record, they're starting to say to themselves that this guy looks really interesting. He does seem like he could be the serial killer we're looking for. And so as they continue to dig deeper and deeper, one of the Gainesville police officers suddenly thinks of something. There was this unsolved armed robbery of this bank in Gainesville that happened the same week where all 5 of the students had been killed. A lone masked gunman walked into this bank in broad daylight and demanded money from the teller, and the teller, who thought on their feet, gave him the cash, but it was the type that was booby-trapped with dye packets, meaning if this robber...
Is the stream working okay for the 3 people that's in here? 5 people that's in here? Is the stream working okay for you guys? Let me know. Is it lagging in any way, or is everything running good? Just to double check. Okay, you guys good on your part? You're good on your part? All right.
tried to tamper with the money at all, it would detonate, sending dial over them and kind of making it obvious that this money had been stolen. But the robber doesn't see this. He takes the bag of cash, he leaves the bank and manages to flee and go into the forest before the police show up. And so the police ultimately, they go and search the forest and they find this campsite deep in the woods. And at this campsite, which is abandoned, they don't find the person who robbed the bank, but at this campsite, they find the bag that has the money inside of it, and the dye packet has been activated. So clearly the robber had tried to fiddle with it, and then when it detonated, they had taken off and left the money. And then also at this campsite, near this duffel bag full of ruined money, was a screwdriver, a gun, and an audio recorder. Now, at the time, the police that were seeing this, they were part of this huge effort in Gainesville to stop any more attacks on students and catch the killer or killers. That was all they were thinking about. And so when they didn't immediately catch this robber, they kind of said, you know what, this is a lower priority item than what we're dealing with this loose serial killer or killers. And so let's just round up the evidence, put it in storage, and somebody else can deal with this after we handle this killer.
What the fuck is wrong with them, man? So you're telling me you have all of the evidence that you need. It's 2 and 2. 2 and 2 equals 4. You find the screwdriver. You find all of this evidence that points to, this could be this person. And you decide, it has nothing to do with one another. What the fuck, man? That's why I made that video. That's why I made that video on TikTok, where I saw them pulling up that slab and I said, put it the fuck back. Y'all don't know what you're doing. You don't care about us general population. Put it back. Stop fucking with shit. In this case, do your job. What, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Killer situation. And so no one listened to the audio recording. They just put it in evidence. They grabbed everything else, put it in evidence, and they threw it in the storage room. And so now this Gainesville police officer that's just remembered this unsolved armed robbery, he says to the group that's investigating Danny, he says, hey, since Danny has a penchant for armed robbery, clearly he has a rap sheet full of armed robberies, maybe if he was the serial killer and he killed all these students, that would have meant he was in Gainesville, and so maybe he committed this armed robbery. And so we should go look at the evidence and listen to that tape. And so the officers, they practically run to the storage locker. They get the evidence from this unsolved armed robbery. They come back and they hit play on this audio recorder. And what they hear is unbelievable. They hear on this recording a man singing a song. It's clearly a song he wrote, and he's singing about being a, quote, mystery killer. And then it kind of segues into him talking about how to effectively kill a deer with a knife, to be really effective with a knife. And he's getting into really graphic detail of how to do that. And then, somewhat unbelievably, on this audio recording, the man identifies himself. He says his name is Danny Rawling. And so this audio recording was huge. It meant Danny Rawling, the guy they're looking at as potentially being the serial killer, was definitely in Gainesville, in the woods near the University of Florida, the same time frame that all of the victims were killed. Also, the screwdriver that had been found at this campsite matched the markings that had been made along the outside of some of the door frames of the victims' homes. They also went into Danny's military records, and it showed he had a blood type of B. So his blood type matched the blood type that had been found in all of the victims' homes. And so just like that, Danny became the #1 suspect. And when they went to figure out where he was, amazingly, they found he was already in custody. He was being held in a jail cell 40 miles south of Gainesville for another armed robbery. And so immediately, Danny was charged in the murders of the 5 Gainesville students. They couldn't charge him for the 3 Shreveport murders because they just didn't have enough evidence. And then after that, Danny was transferred to Florida's maximum security prison to await trial. Initially, Danny said he was innocent, he had nothing to do with the murders. But then almost 4 years later, when his trial was finally starting on the first day of his trial, he He surprised everyone in the court when he stood up and said, "I'm going to change my plea. I'm guilty on all 5 counts. I did kill all 5 students." He would tell the court the reason he did this is he wanted to be a superstar like the notorious serial killer Ted Bundy, who he looked up to. Danny would also, at another date, confess to killing the 3 Grissom family members in Shreveport.
See, it's a dangerous world that we live in, that people idolize these killers. And I think that's something that happens even just nowadays. Like, don't get me wrong, I ain't trying to get nothing canceled. But I think it's very dangerous to just put stuff out there. Like that show, You. Everybody's talking about You. Everybody's talking about how the show is amazing. It's based off of a guy that if he finds an attraction to a woman, he stalks and then kills them. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't an attractive person playing the character, I believe that a lot more people would understand, what the fuck are we doing? Like what are we doing? This is the stuff that we're putting out there. This is the stuff that inspires people to do stuff like that. We got to be smart, dude. We got to be smart. I'm just saying. Like I said, I'm not trying to get you canceled. I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to get the Netflix show canceled. I'm just saying that this person looked up to Ted Bundy and then he moved forward. Ted Bundy was made into a superstar by the court and how we publicized everything. And it's scary how this stuff can affect people's minds.
Because of Danny's detailed confessions, we now know all the terrifying details of what actually happened when he killed all 8 of his victims. Back on Friday, November 3rd, 1989, Danny was fired from his job as a waiter at a local restaurant in Shreveport. And so he was frustrated, he was angry, and he was kind of walking around his neighborhood when he decided the way he would kind of channel his frustration was he would go kill some people. And so he was armed with his K-bar knife, which he always carried with him. And he found himself standing in front of this little house and he saw some people moving around inside and he looked around. There wasn't anyone watching him. And so he just walked up to the front door. He tried the handle and it was unlocked. And so before he opened the door, he made sure his knife was in hand. He opened the door, walked right in, and he saw Sean, the 8-year-old, sitting on the couch watching TV. And without any hesitation, he walked up behind him and stabbed him through the back, killing him almost instantly. And then Danny walked into the kitchen where he found Tom, the grandfather, who was making steaks out on the back grill. And so he was going back and forth between the kitchen and the grill, kind of getting ready for dinner. And at some point, when Tom came back into the house and was holding steaks in his hand, Danny leapt out and stabbed him. And even though Tom put up a fight, he was very quickly subdued as well. And then after that, Danny made his way upstairs where Julie was, that was Sean's aunt, and she was getting ready for a wedding she was going to attend that night for one of her friends. And so she had just gotten out of her shower and she was getting ready to put on this red dress.
My bad, Dana. I don't mean for you to have nightmares. It's just, man, like it's Halloween. And I mean, this shit, I'd rather know than not know. Plus, Dana, let's be real. You gonna beat down anybody that try and do anything like that to you. Let's be honest. I've known you since you were a freshman in high school. You ain't no softy. Don't be trying to act like you a damsel in distress. You gonna stab somebody right back. They ain't about to get you easily. I already know that. Plus, I got your back like a t-shirt, homie. Don't ever forget that.
She had picked out, and Danny walked into her room and she most likely saw him, at which point Danny would have told her what he had just done to her loved ones downstairs. And he threatened her with the knife and said, if you don't listen to me, I'm going to do the same thing to you. And because she was terrified, she listened to him. And so he immobilized her and then he sexually assaulted her and then he stabbed her to death. Afterwards, he cuts the tape off of her wrists and puts the tape in his pocket. And then he lays her out on her back on her bed. And then he goes downstairs and gets some vinegar and uses the vinegar to attempt to clean her body, to destroy any evidence he might have left behind. And then after cleaning her, he kind of puts her in that lewd, suggestive pose with her hands up over her head and her legs spread. and then he leaves. 6 months later, in August of 1990, after Danny has shot his father and is on the run from the law, he finds himself in Gainesville, Florida, and he sets up this little camp just behind the University of Florida in this thick forest. And then on Friday, August 23rd, as he's sitting out at his campsite, he gets this sudden urge to go kill again. And so he waits for it to get dark out, and then he gets out his audio recorder and he records himself alluding to this murder he's about to go perpetrate.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to hear this, y'all. Oh my God.
Then, armed with a pistol, a screwdriver, and his K-bar knife, he left his campsite and walked in the darkness in the forest about a mile away until he was looking from inside the forest out towards this 3-story white apartment building. And it's believed that within the last 24 hours, he had been in that area and he had seen 2 young girls go in and out of this apartment building. And that was all he needed to determine who his victims were going to be. And so those victims were Christine Powell and Sonia Larson. And so when he was standing in front of their apartment building, he eventually strode out of the forest. He walked up to that access door that led him into that stairwell. He made his way up to the door of Christine and Sonia, and he used his screwdriver to pop the door open. He went inside and shut the door behind him and walked into the living room, and he found Christine was sleeping on the couch. And so he left her be, he didn't touch her. He went upstairs and he found Sonia sleeping on her bed. And so as he's standing there, realizing that he has these 2 girls, he needs to make a decision about which one he's going to kill first and which one he's going to sexually assault. And so as he's standing there looking over Sonia's bed, he decides he's going to kill Sonia and then he's going to sexually assault Christine. And so very casually, he walks into Sonia's room. She's fast asleep, she's on her back, and he pulls out a piece of duct tape. And he gets the duct tape in one hand and he pulls his knife out in the other, and he presses the duct tape over her mouth, which wakes her up, and then he drives the knife into her chest. And so Sonia would put up a pretty incredible fight, but ultimately she would succumb to her injuries. And then after she was dead, Danny just left her where she was, and he went downstairs and he found Christine was still asleep on the couch. She had not woken up from the commotion upstairs. And so he walked right in front of her, and standing over her with his knife, he kind of nudged her awake. And when she woke up, he had a piece of tape, he put it over her mouth, and he told her to be quiet and held up the knife and told her that I just killed your roommate, and if you don't listen to what I'm going to say, I'm going to kill you too. And so naturally, she complied to what he wanted. And so she let her wrists be tied, and then at that point, he cut her clothes off, he sexually assaulted her, and then he stabbed her to death. And so after she was dead on the ground, he went and got that towel and that soap, and he began cleaning Christine's body to try to remove any evidence he might have left behind. And then he cut the duct tape off of her wrist and removed the duct tape from her mouth and put those in his pocket. And then he positioned her in that kind of lewd, suggestive position.
Yeah, that fucker's gonna burn in hell. I know that. He gonna burn. He gonna burn for eternity. That's an evil, evil person
That she was found in. And then Danny went back upstairs and cut the clothes off of Sonia and then positioned her on the side of the bed in a suggestive position as well. And then Danny leaves the apartment. So he goes back into the woods, he walks in the wood line back to his campsite, but when he got there, he was just too jacked up, he was too excited from what he had just done that he just couldn't control himself. All he wanted to do was go out and kill again. And so he managed to sit at his campsite for a total of 8 hours before he couldn't help it any longer. He had to go back out and find another victim. And so his next victim, he decided, would be this woman he just happened to see a couple of days ago. He was walking down the road near this row of apartments near the school, and he looked into one of them, and he just saw there was this girl in this apartment, and he just thought for a second, you know, I bet she lives alone there. But that was the entire interaction. He didn't know this person. He was just kind of guessing that she might be alone in there. And so here he is in the forest after killing these 2 teens. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to that apartment because I think that woman is alone. And that woman would be Krista Hoyt. And so in the early morning hours of Saturday, August 24th, Danny leaves his campsite with his screwdriver, his gun, and his K-bar knife, and he walks about a half mile away from his campsite until he's still in the woods, but he's looking out at the back of Krista's apartment. And then at some point, he walks out of the forest. He walks right up over her fence and gets up to her back sliding door. He uses a screwdriver to pop the sliding door open. He slides it open. He steps inside and he finds out that Krista is actually not in her apartment. There's no one in her apartment. But instead of leaving and finding another victim, he decides he'll just wait for Krista. And so he shuts the sliding back door and he goes into her bedroom closet and shuts the closet and then just waits. And he stays in her closet for several hours until around 11
That's so
a.m.
fucking
that
scary.
morning. Krista comes home, and when she was in the house, he waited a little bit longer to make sure she didn't know he was there. And then at some point, he kind of slipped out of the closet, snuck up behind her, and put her in a chokehold. Now, at first, Krista tried to fight back, but eventually she realized she could not overpower whoever this was. And at that point, she said, okay, what do you want? And Danny would tell her, you got to listen to me or I'm going to kill you. And he showed her the knife. And so Krista said, okay. And she put her wrists out. He taped her wrists with duct tape. He put tape over her mouth. And then he brought her into her bedroom where he cut her clothes off and sexually assaulted her. And then afterwards, he stabbed her to
That's fucking. He's a sick bastard. He's a sick bastard. Yeah, we watching Mr. Ballin tonight. I wasn't expecting this to be so dark, man. I mean, it's the Psycho that inspired Scream. I really, oh God, this is.
death. Once she was dead, he cut the duct tape off of her wrists and pulled the duct tape off of her mouth and put that duct tape in his pocket. And then he positioned her body on the bed in a suggestive position before he left. When he got back to his campsite, he realized he had accidentally left his wallet in Krista's apartment. And so, calm as can be, he walked back through the forest, right back into Krista's apartment. He found his wallet and he was about to leave when he thought to himself, well, wait a minute, I should mutilate her body. And so he pulled Krista's body off of the bed and using his knife, he decapitated her. He put her head up on the shelf next to the bed, and then he repositioned her body on the edge of the bed, making it seem like she was kind of hunched over, looking out.
That's so fucking freaky, dude. Like the shit that you see at haunted houses, that shit is all fake. Could you imagine how much that would traumatize you walking in and seeing that? Yeah, we can watch facial recognition next. This is just, this is crazy. Oh, by the way, guys, I am trying to save my YouTube channel. I'm not asking if you don't got money to donate, I'm not asking you to donate. I just would like it if anybody can like give me a like, share, maybe if you see any content after this. Most of my stuff is music reactions. I'm still, growing and doing new things. If you see anything, that you enjoy, just give it a share and give it a like and help me to grow the channel that way. I will be live streaming every day this week. Usually I start at about 8 o'clock. Tonight I started a little bit later. Was very surprised to see that I went viral on TikTok. Very surprised. Did not see that coming at all. But we gonna keep going. This is it's hard to listen to, honestly, if I'm being real, man. I got 2 daughters. That's the scariest fucking thing in the world. That is honestly the scariest thing in the world.
The back door. And then before he left, he reached up and
The
twisted
Mandela
her
catalog,
decapitated
huh? What's
head
that about?
and made it seem like it was looking down at the rest of her body. 48 hours later, on the evening of Monday, August 27th, Danny was back at his campsite out in the woods, and he suddenly got the urge to go kill again. And so he stood up, he grabbed his knife, his screwdriver, and his gun, and he walked away from camp, made it about a mile through the woods until he was standing still in the forest, looking out at this big apartment complex that was very commonly occupied by college students. And so at some point, he leaves the forest and walks up to the first apartment he sees. He has no idea who's going to be in there. And he goes up to their sliding back glass door. He gets his screwdriver out and he pops it open. He slides the door open. He steps inside. And the first thing he sees is Manny Taboda, this big, strong former football player who's laying in his bed. And Danny just walks over and starts stabbing him. And Manny wakes up and puts up one heck of a fight.
Wow.
But ultimately, Danny is able to overpower him.
We might have to save the Mandela catalog for another night, but I'm going to see how long facial recognition is. I wasn't expecting this one to be 48 minutes. This is like a whole documentary, honestly.
And kills him. While Danny was stabbing Manny, the other resident inside of this apartment, 23-year-old Tracy Paulus, she was in the shower, and so she gets out of the shower and she hears all this commotion down the hall, and so she steps into the hall and she looks into Manny's room and she sees Danny on top of him stabbing him. And so Danny looks back, he sees Tracy, Tracy screams, she runs down the hall into her bedroom, she slams the door behind her, she locks it, and then she leans up against the door to try to keep it shut. Meanwhile, Danny just continues to stab Manny until Manny is dead. And then Danny stands up and he just walks down the hall, calm as can be. He gets to the bedroom door where he knows Tracy is. She's trapped, she can't go anywhere. And he begins to smash the door down. He's ramming it with his shoulder, he's kicking it over and over again, and Tracy's screaming for him to stop, but eventually he manages to just kick the door down. And as soon as he's inside the room, Tracy kind of stands back and she says to Danny, "Are you the one?" And Danny looks at her and says, "Yes, I am the one." And then he threatened her with the knife and said, "I'll kill you just like the guy down the hall unless you listen to me." And so Tracy listened. She got her wrists bound and her face bound. And then Danny cut the clothes off of her and then sexually assaulted her. And then he stabbed her to death. And then after she was dead, he cut the duct tape off of her wrists and removed the duct tape from her mouth and then positioned her body in a suggestive sexual position on the edge of the bed, and then he left. Later that day, Danny would rob that bank in Gainesville, and then 1 month later, Danny would be arrested for...
I was just thinking that. So you ain't got no windows? You ain't trying to hop out a window? Like, I'm not trying to make fun of the girl, because you also got to think about it. This was the 80s. I mean, it could have very easily been windows that were painted shut. You know what I mean? It could have been so many things, man. Like the technology jump that we've had in the past 40 years are ridiculous, and it's still scary though, dude. Like it's still scary, you know? Just the fact that he could get away with that many murders in that short amount of time. The fact that the cops had the evidence and didn't know that they had the person. All of that is scary. And the scariest thing to me is the fact that none of it was like really premeditated or like thought out. It wasn't a grudge against the person. He picked a random passerby and decided, I'm killing that person tonight. That is scary. And if that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will, because that scares the shit out of me. I got two beautiful daughters. And it's, God, dude, that's just a scary situation. Right. I don't get why they would think that they would live, but at that time when you got your life in someone else's hands, you just your brain kind of cuts off. It's shock. Shock could get to you. We're gonna finish this out and I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. We're gonna end out the video and whatnot, and then we're gonna keep on going, y'all.
For a botched armed robbery 40 miles south of Gainesville, and then while he was in prison, he would find out he was being charged with the 5 murders in Gainesville. 16 years later, at 6 p.m. on October 25th, 2006, Danny Rawling was led into the execution chamber in Florida State Prison. He offered no apology to the family members of his victims that were on the other side of the glass. Instead, Danny just sang a religious hymn to himself in order to comfort himself. And then 13 minutes later, Danny was pronounced dead. He was executed via lethal injection. So that's going to do it, guys. If you got something out of today's episode and you haven't done this already, please hide outside of the like button's house while they are watching Game 7 of the World Series. And anytime the game starts to get really good, change their channel using your universal.
That was dark, y'all. That was dark. I don't know. We're going to talk a little bit more among ourselves here in a second. For now, let me go ahead and finish out this video. So y'all saw here, I'm your skinny deficient homie Chubbington III. It's spooky season, so we're gonna be doing this consistently. If you see me live on the channel, don't hesitate to go pop in. We're trying to fundraise for the channel all week, all month. I'm really trying to push for this. I love you guys. Check out my TikTok. Check out my Facebook. All of the links are in on my profile on YouTube. And, you know, we're just going to keep it coming. If you like this type of spooky content, even if you don't like the story itself, if you like this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. That lets me know that doing this on the channel is something that y'all want to see. And without further ado, man, I'm your skinny deficient homie, Chubb Chubbington III. And if I ever get to 100 million subs, I will buy you tacos, unless I'm still broke. I love you guys, and buff chubby ends. We out. That was dark, though. See, I agree. I agree with that, man. I literally had a live stream with the homie the other day about how hunting pedos should be a national sport. It should be allowed. It should be allowed. Because that's some sick shit. What do y'all think of that though, man? You know, like do you think it's scary? If you do think it's scary, like what do y'all think about that? That whole story. And while y'all telling me, I'm gonna go ahead and try and pull up facial recognition. I can't believe I have 1,338 followers on TikTok. I had like 428 this morning. And they are killing the like button. I'm legit at 10,000 likes on this video and over 100,000 views. That's crazy to me, y'all. I never thought I'd be somebody to go viral, especially for saying what everybody else was thinking. Put that shit the fuck back. We don't need no more problems. We didn't seen The Mummy. We didn't seen The Thing. We didn't seen all of Supernatural. We didn't seen, you know, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like, we didn't seen all of this. Put that shit back. Put it the fuck back. Simple as that. Put it the fuck back. You know? We are now at 134,000 views on this. That's crazy. Okay. Facial recognition. I am tripping off of this. I mean, I'm very happy, but I'm tripping off of this. Like, what? We went viral like that? It is terrifying, right? Yeah, true. But I mean, think about what damage could have happened in the psych ward. If he would have got out, he might have thought, oh, it's just psych ward damage, da 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 da. And like, nah, that's not okay. You know what I mean? Like it's such a messed up situation. At the end of the day, it's such a messed up situation. Okay, let's see if we can find this Mr. Ballin, the facial recognition. Which one? Is this the facial recognition that you're talking about? Now, is it Mr. Ballin that did this death robe? A little bit too silent. Let's get some music in the background. But yeah, is it the facial recognition one that you're talking about? Is that a Mr. Ballin one? I'm tripping trying to stay up this late like I'm young or something. I know I gotta get my daughters up first thing in the morning. It's not Mr. Ballin. Can you grab the link for me? Right. If they could break out of Arkham, you know what I mean? Even though they fictional characters, like honestly, I could probably look up how many breaks there's been. Okay, facial recognition testing. Bet. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna look that up. But yeah, man, like it's the reality of not knowing that you're safe, you know what I mean? Like you don't know if you're safe or not. You gotta do what you gotta do. Facial recognition testing. I'm guessing it's this one that's... Oh, that's creepy as fuck. Oh, that's creepy as shit. Is it the one that's only 2 minutes long? That's the scary part, man. The fact that he could get out, like that's scary as fuck, man. That's why I always tell people, like, don't talk down on yourself, man. Don't talk down on yourself. Don't be around people that you don't want to be around. You only got one life. You don't know when that ticket gonna get punched. Live your life of positivity, but always be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of your surroundings. You know what I mean? But try and live a good life. Okay, so it's the 2 minute one. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Hold up, I'm about to start another recording, y'all. Give me a second while I run through this opening. What's up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your skinny deficient homie, Chubbington the third. And if I ever get to 100 million subs, I will buy you tacos. You might notice that my voice is a little bit gone. I've been doing live streaming this whole week. I'm gonna keep on going for the whole month. We're trying to save our YouTube partnership program. So anything helps. If you see me donating, you got an extra buck or two, $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever you feel that you can spare, it all will go towards the channel and making sure that we keep our YouTube partnership program. So if you can help out with that, I appreciate it. But if not, it's cool. Just hit me with a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know you like this type of content. So we got a suggestion right here from Deathbed. Deathbed is a new person that came into the channel today, and he suggested some spooky stuff because we did the Mr. Ballin. If you ain't seen that, go ahead and check that video. That will be up before this one. So this is called facial recognition testing. And apparently it's like a short film. It's like 2 minutes long. He said it was so spooky, and I quote, "It was so spooky where I watched this video and cried from fear." Oh my God. Yeah, they didn't listen to. So in the Mr. Ballin, there was a whole bunch that happened. But yes, Dana, they just put it in storage. That's so dumb to me. That doesn't make any sense. But we gonna go ahead and we gonna get into this reaction. Y'all may not know this, man, because I don't really do spooky stuff on the channel, but I am a whole pussy when it comes to spooky stuff. Like I'm doing this because people like to watch me scared, I guess. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get into it, man. Buff Chubbians, let's react. Facial recognition trainer. I'm about to fall backwards in my chair, man. If I die, take care of my kids. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this at all.
All right, this is a recording of the facial recognition tests.
I'm turning this shit down. You ain't hitting me with a jump scare in my ears. No sirree, Bob. This video probably only get 10 views on top of that. I am not about to fuck myself over 10 views. Okay, here we go. Oh, man, I might have to cut the lights on for this shit. Okay.
Recording of the facial recognition tests on the new animatronics. I thought I'd just use this one because they've all got the same endoskeleton.
What's going on?
Anyway, so how this is going to work is I'm going to show him pictures of people. It'll alternate between a picture of an innocent and a person who's committed some kind of crime. When he sees a face, his eyelids should go up a little bit. When it's a criminal, he should play a tone and open his mouth. Hopefully, if this goes well, we can start going into specifics. Alright, first picture, innocent. Alright, good. Second, criminal. Good, very good. Alright, we'll do a few more. Innocent. Criminal. Innocent. Criminal. Innocent. What's this doing?
My bad, death row.
The hell? Hey, no!
Oh, hell no. There's a fucking face in the background,
Look,
death
I know we
row.
can't have that guy.
There's a fucking face in the background, man. What are you doing to me? Is the stream still lagging? Okay, I think the stream is good. Y'all freaking me out, man.
Right back here, but you can't just put shit in without telling me. I could have died. God damn it, you know what? How about you take your facial recognition and shove it? Because I'm not working in this death trap anymore, starting right now! Criminal.
In hindsight, it wasn't that scary. But I may need to go get new pants real quick. Why is something that simple gonna fuck me up as much as it is? Why is something that simple gonna fuck me up as much as it is? Did I not put the screen up for you guys? Okay, I put it up. Oh, Rika, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Fuck. I'll play it back for you, Rika, since you didn't see what happened. Okay.
Alright, this is a recording of the facial recognition tests on the new animatronics. I thought I'd just use this one because they've all got the same endoskeleton anyway. So, how this is going to work is I'm going to show him pictures of people. It'll alternate between a picture of an innocent and a person who's committed some kind of crime. When he sees a face, his eyelids should go up a little bit. When it's a criminal, he should play a tone and open his mouth. Hopefully, if this goes well, we can start going into specifics. Alright, first picture, innocent. Alright, good. Second, criminal.
I love you too, Dana.
Good, very good. Alright, we'll do a few more. Innocent. Criminal. Innocent. Criminal. Innocent.
Big hug for you,
What's
Rika.
this doing here? The hell? Hey, no, 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 no! Look, I know we can't have that guy back here, but you can't just put shit in without telling me. I could have died. God damn it, you know what? How about you take your facial recognition and shove it? Because I'm not working in this death trap anymore, starting right now!
This shit was creepy. This shit right here is creepy as Fiznuck. Oh my gosh. All right, Death Row. You got me. You got me. You got my spooky ass. If y'all God. Okay. If y'all like this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm your skinny the fishing homie who is now wet from the waist down. Oh, fuck. Whew. I'll watch spooky shit if y'all help me pay my bills. Okay. I'm not okay with this shit. All right. All right. Yeah, no, I'm a G. What you mean? Ain't nobody scared of shit. Nah, I wasn't scared one bit. Nope, not even a little bit. Oh, fuck, I was fucking terrified. All right, yeah, we done. I love y'all. Buff Chubbians, we out. Ooh, okay. Okay. That fucked with me. That fucked with me. I'm gonna look up the Mandela catalogs, but I might do that one tomorrow. I want to see if Rika, since she donated, I want to see if she has a request for like any music or any videos, even if it's comedy, whatever. If you got a request, Rika, sorry, go ahead, let me know. We'll get that in, and that'll be like the last one that we do. Is it the Mandela catalog or Mandela catalog? Mandela catalog, okay. Mandela catalog, volume 1. What up, Aztec Soul brother? Welcome, man. You just watched me get freaked the fuck out. This motherfucker. For real, Dana. For real. Some demonic shit. And now he asking me to check out the Mandela catalog, which I got up on the screen. Let me let y'all see what this subscriber is going to try and get me to watch. I will watch it tomorrow. I don't know if I could do no more spooky tonight, man. My house was made in the 1900s, okay? This motherfucker still freaks me out at night. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. Wait a minute. Oh, God. Freaking me the fuck out. Ooh, okay. All right. Okay. Rika, do you have any requests before I do this? Ooh. I know people that like spooky. I know there's plenty of people that like spooky. I've just never been one of them. I mean, matter of fact, let me give y'all a little bit of story time. Hold on. What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm your skinny the fishing homie, Chubbington III, and I just hit the record button. We got some people down. We got some people in here for the live right now. I'll go ahead and pull that up while we are talking. I normally do reactions, but today I want to do a little bit of a story time, right? So I am a scaredy cat. I am a scaredy cat. That is the truth. It happens. It is what it is. Everybody be like, oh, you a big dude. How you scared? You a big dude. How you scared? I'm scared because I had some fucked up older cousins. So, story time. Let me tell you why I am deathly afraid of ventriloquist dummies. Deathly afraid of ventriloquist dummies. Okay. My cousins, when I was younger, right? I always wanted to tag along with them all the time. Always wanted to tag along. Hold on. Let me see if I got something that I can put in the background for this. Hold on. No. 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 We'll go with this one for this. It ain't no spooky background or nothing, you know, but it'll work. So, when I was younger, right? Oh, it's all good, Aztec. We happy to have you here. I used to always follow my cousins around. And you know, when you got your little cousin following you, you can't do the stuff that you want to do. I'd go to Chicago to visit my family and, you know, all the kids would be together. So I'd be with my cousin and what I would do is just always bug them, I guess. And one day they ditched me and I was scared because I'm in a different city. Now, granted, I'm literally down the street from my house, but I was like 8 or 9. And I'm not talking about 8 or 9-year-olds now that have the internet. I'm talking about 8 or 9 back in the 90s when 8 or 9 was like this generation's 3 and 4. You know what I mean? Like you could tell them a spooky story and they legitimately freaked out for the rest of their life. That's what happened to me with the ventriloquist dummy. So I ended up coming back to the house. You love scary shit, huh, Death Row? Well, you probably would have loved this then. So I come back to the house. I snitch them out to my cousins. I mean, to my grandparents. My grandpa, old school grandpa, beat the dog out of them when they got home. They got spankings. I'm sitting there smiling, got a cookie in my mouth, thinking, ha ha ha, revenge will be sweet. Hold up, cause shit gets serious here. Revenge was not sweet. Revenge was sweet for as long as that cookie lasted. So let me set the mood for you, right? Let me go ahead and set the mood. Okay, so big house. My grandparents had 7 kids. Those 7 kids each had a bunch of kids. So all of my cousins, big house for all of us to be in. One night, everybody goes to church. The same night that my cousins got in trouble, everybody goes to church. I decided to stay back with my cousins. They like, yeah, boo, stay back with us because they call me Boo Bear. That's my nickname for my family members. So they're like, yeah, stay back with us. I'm like, all right, you know, I ain't thinking nothing of it. I'm a kid. You know, it's already passed. They beat me up sometimes. They get past it. Out of nowhere, this huge thunderstorm starts. Out of nowhere. I'm talking about the wind was blowing. It was loud. And my grandparents have an older house too. Bigger house as it is, it's an older house. So we're all sitting there. The thunder starts to hit, right? Hold on. I'm going to have to put this in After Effect. But the thunder starts to hit. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting with them in the front room. We ain't got cable. We dang sure don't got internet. So the way that we entertain ourselves is movies. So they start putting on the scariest movies they can find. They had a 8-year-old in the 90s with a thunderstorm rolling in the background. They're playing stuff like Freddy, Jason, and they are watching the whole movies. I ain't gonna go nowhere because back then you really had to save on the electric bill. So the only place that there's lights is in the front room that we're in, right? Everywhere else, the lights are out. It's pitch black. I have been holding my pee for 2 movies at this point. I'm like, I gotta go pee. I gotta go pee. I gotta go pee. I'm getting ready to run up the stairs to go use the bathroom. And boom! The loudest thunderclap I have heard in my life hits right then. Almost pissed myself. Straight up, almost pissed myself. All the power in the neighborhood goes. I run back to my cousins. They like, hey man, don't be holding up on me. You a kid, you a boy, you gonna be all right. Don't be rolling up on me. So then they like, you still gotta go to the bathroom. So as revenge for what you did to us earlier, go ahead and go to the bathroom. Me being a dumbass, I trust them, right? So I go to the bathroom. They had put my uncle's ventriloquist dummy in the bathroom. You know, bathrooms back in the day, they had them big mirrors. A lot of horror movies had to do with mirrors and shit. Not only do they lock me in the bathroom during a blackout with a ventriloquist dummy, these assholes are dead silent past the door. So I am crying, I am screaming, I am begging for them to open the door. They decide that this isn't enough to get revenge on a 8-year-old little cousin. They go and get a boom box. I'm talking about D battery boom box. And they proceed to play the the Freddy 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. I am keeping my eyes on this ventriloquist dummy like my life depends on it. Because at the time, my life depends on it. This is a HyperX mic, by the way. At the time, my life depends on it, is what I'm thinking. When I heard the Freddy music, when I tell you that my soul left my body. Also, push me into the I had to go to the bathroom, went into the bathroom, they locked the door. I legit pissed myself. Don't even care at this point. If I'm going out, whoever is trying to kill me, gonna get some piss on them. You gonna smell it. Like I'm gonna be dead, but I'm gonna live on through the smelly, pissy smell that you now have to try and explain as you try and get past my cousins. I was so fucking scared. And these two, I love them dearly. They're my favorite cousins now, but they forgot about me for 2 hours. I passed out at one point because I have anxiety. And you know, anybody who knows back in the day, it's like, oh, you're too smart to have anxiety. You're too smart to have a mental disorder. Mental disorders are covered so much better now. But I had anxiety. I legit had a panic attack and passed out. Woke up, had another panic attack because the thunder had shook in the house so hard, the ventriloquist dummy has failed. I was passed out when the ventriloquist dummy fell. So I wake up and this motherfucker's on the ground. And I'm like, let me out, let me out, let me out. And the fucking Freddy music is still playing. When I say that when the lights came on and the door got open because these dumbasses forgot, I was in a fetal position, damn near mid-mental breakdown. Damn near mid-mental breakdown. When my grandpa got home and saw the state of me, because of course, when you go too far with a younger relative of any kind, younger brother, younger sister, younger cousin, younger auntie, whatever. When you go too far, the first thing you do is try and butter them up. Oh, I'm sorry. Now you can hang out with us whenever you want to. That's what they telling me. You can hang out with us whenever you want to. You a man now. You handled your fear. You handled your fear. I was crying so hard. I had swollen eyes for like 2 days. That's how hard I was crying. There was no way they were hiding this. They going to go get my auntie's makeup, trying to put makeup on me to make it seem more believable. When my grandparents showed up and I'm laying in the middle of the front room floor, because all of us slept in the front room when I went to go visit. When my grandparents show up, right? What did he just say? I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Incognito, what'd you just say? You were on one. But when I tell you that, when my grandpa showed up, he made them go pick out a switch in the middle of a thunderstorm. Do you know how much a switch hurts? Now imagine it wet. He made them go pick out a switch in the middle of a thunderstorm. Then, nicest my grandpa had ever been to me in my life. Nicest actually, most of my family was just super nice. I think they realized that maybe these little niggas, can I say niggas? It's not TikTok. I can say niggas. Maybe these little niggas went too far. To this day, I am deathly afraid of ventriloquist dummies. Don't play with me. Don't have your hand in it when you come fuck. Because my first instinct is knock that motherfucker's head off and look for a match. That's my first instinct. This is story time with Chubb, by the way. So, if you ever wonder why when I do these spooky reactions, I seem like I'm scared to death. Yeah, it's not an act. I be scared. I be really scared, y'all. But that's my story. That's a little bit of story time. Like the people who are here are the first ones to hear it. You know what I mean? I've told very few people about this story, but this is my story of why I am deathly fucking afraid of horror shit. Like they traumatized me, man. And it wasn't like, oh, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. They tried to tell me that afterwards. And of course, I didn't believe them. I was scared as shit. But yeah, that was my story time. Y'all let me know if y'all want more things like that where I tell y'all a little bit about myself. Again, thank you for coming to the channel. If you made it this far into the video, give me a hashtag BuffChubb in the comments. I love y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And never bring fucking ventriloquist dummies around me. Just don't do it. All right. I love y'all. BuffChubbians, we out. Yeah, y'all. Like that's a true story. That's a true story. My cousins did that to me. You got 4 girls now, Dana? Bruh, it's hilarious. It's a hilarious story to tell now. I'm thinking about telling this story on stage for my stand-up that I do here in the town that I live in the Midwest. I'm thinking about doing that story on stage, but I'm be real with you. I'm still kind of fucked up by that. Like, I ain't slept with all the lights off in my room in years. Like, I'm a grown man. Bro, it scared the shit out of me. Did Rika take off? Oh, it looked like Rika took off. I appreciate the hashtag BuffChubbs in the comments, y'all. I am going to post a link really quick. This is my TikTok that went viral. So if y'all want to go check it out, feel free to. And you know what I mean? Like that's something that y'all can see. I'll be up to date on that. We'll probably do the Mandela catalogs. We'll probably do the Mandela catalogs tomorrow, honestly. But for tonight, yeah, no, they don't. So do y'all remember the movie Dead Silence? the first time that my parents realized how bad that fucked me up, they forced me to go see Dead Silence with them and my cousins who had came in town. And when I tell you the guilt on my cousins' faces almost made it worth me sitting through that movie and almost pissing myself. Like, it really made it worth it because they felt so bad, man. What does the Mandela catalog have? Is there any horror movie parodies that we could check out? You know what I always said was good? I wonder if we should do this. The Slash Street Boys, I'll Kill You That Way. Oh yeah, you trying to spook me. Well, you're gonna have to come back tomorrow for that one, Death Robe. You're gonna have to come back tomorrow for that, because I'm not doing Mandela catalog tonight, bud. You can't make me. But I'll definitely do it another time. Have y'all ever seen the If Georgie Was Black? The It parody? Jake Daniel Killer. Okay, Jake Daniel Killer. This is from only 4 months ago, huh? Looks like I could pull up the lyrics for it too. I'm down with this. We'll check this out. No, I'm down with it. I'm down with it. We're not gonna do the Mandela catalogs tonight, but we'll definitely do the Jake Daniel Killer. We'll definitely do that. And we got a couple more things that we're gonna try and check out too. I do gotta call it a night soon though. I gotta be up in 5 hours to get my firstborn up. So I'll ask now, does anybody else have anything that they kind of want to try and get recorded? Because I'm gonna try and get everything that we recorded tonight, edited and uploaded through the day tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, I'm gonna be live again to try and push the channel, honestly. You got something, Dana? I'm down with this though. We'll go ahead and we'll get ready to do it. Let's see. What we gonna bring to the stage? What we gonna bring to the stage? Yes, yes, yes. I watched YouTube videos until I almost pissed myself, and that's how I went viral on YouTube. Not as easy as it was to go viral on TikTok. Yeah, we'll see. Someday, y'all. Smoking a cancer stick? Yes, for legal purposes, this is tobacco. You thought I was gonna do this shit sober, bud? I just told you I'm a pussy, dog. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get into this reaction. Let's make this one work. All right, so here we go, y'all. I'm gonna have y'all up here in the corner again. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. I am your skinny deficient homie, Chubbington the Third, and my subscribers has been messing with me tonight. No, I'm not smoking a cancer stick. For legal purposes, this is tobacco, but no, it's not. Anyway, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, don't be shy. Give us a like, a comment, a subscribe. You know, maybe a little bit of those. You found your way here for a reason. I am your skinny deficient homie, Chubbington the Third. I'm the mayor of Chubby City. I live over on Flab Ave, And if I ever get to 100 million subs and I'm not still broke, I will buy you tacos. Now, we do got a reaction request. That is true. We still talking about some stuff that we did earlier. We did a couple of reactions tonight, honestly. Y'all go ahead and check those out. I'll put the links in the description. But the suggestion we have is from Death Robe, and he's been getting me spooked up all night. So this is a song by Jake Daniels called Killer. Just came out 4 months ago. My first time hearing anything from this man. And yeah, we definitely got the lyrics ready to go. And if you like this type of content, don't forget to let me know down in the comments, and let me know by hitting that bell and that like button, that thumbs up. That thumbs up, you know what I mean? All right, without further ado though, Buff Chubbians, let's get into this reaction. I'm about to start reading bedtime stories or something. Oh, hold up. I gotta turn it up. I turned it down because that spooky shit was fucking with me. Hold on. Jake, can you pause for a moment? Can you wait just a second, Jake? Jeez. You killers are always so impatient. My system is moving dumb slow. Yeah, but the more content we come out with, the more that we start to build up everything for the channel, you know, PC included. And y'all gonna be a part of that, man. Y'all gonna help this channel be great, and I appreciate y'all for that. But yeah, this is Jake Daniels Killer. And I'm wondering if there we go. Now I just need to check the volume. Make sure the volume is good for y'all. Then we good. Yeah, man, this video is now at over 130,000 views on a video on TikTok. This is my TikTok, y'all. So y'all go check that out. If you're seeing this video, you know, join the 13, almost 1,400 people that just came today. We're actually at almost 150,000 views on this video, over 10,000 likes. That's crazy. I never thought I'd be somebody that go viral on TikTok, especially just for speaking my mind. But anyway, back to the music, y'all. We're going to go ahead and get into this. I like some sports. I do. Did I say Tic Tac? Man, see, all this spooky shit then fucked with my brain. I told you I was traumatized. All right, let's get into it. If it decides to let us get into it. Let's do there we go.
Who am I? When I look in the mirror, there's you and I. Crown on your head like you were crucified. But I can't kill you with no suicide. Sister suicide. Kill my vibe. You always wanna be the killer type.
Hey.
I'm just trying to have some fun tonight.
Okay.
I guess we're gonna have to break the stride. Break the stride. Cause you a killer. Get off of the thrills, yeah. Act so psychopathic, you're romantic and it kills ya. Killer. Don't know how to feel. You're a monster, but you make me feel so real. What's the deal? You hypnotize. You put those glasses on, you get me high. Make me forget everything from tonight. We'll end up wanting for a hummus.
Can we respect this bass in the background? This is fire, dude. This is some straight fire. Hold on one second, y'all. I like this.
Homicide. Tell me lies just to get me to go and break the ice. You said you wanna have some fun tonight. I guess we're gonna have to break the stride, but break the stride. Cause you a killer, killer. Get off of the thrills, yeah. Act so psychopathic, you're romantic and it kills ya. Killer, killer. Don't know how to feel. You're a monster, but you make me feel so real. What's the deal? You're a killer, killer. Get off of the thrills, yeah. Act so psychopathic, you're romantic and it kills ya. Killer, killer. Don't know how to feel. You're a monster, but you make me feel so real. What's the deal? You're a killer.
Oh, that was simple, but I like that. I like that. That was short. Short and sweet. I like that a lot. I probably shouldn't because I'm sure that was darker than what I'm thinking it is. What the fuck? Oh my gosh. It has been a night, y'all. I really enjoyed that. I'm gonna have to try and check out some more Jake Daniels if it does good on the channel, man. Even if it doesn't, I might have to check out some more. That was a request from Death Row, one of our subscribers. I like to do that whenever we go live. I also like to do that whenever y'all say something in the comments. So don't hesitate to say something in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Tell me what y'all thought of the song. I love y'all. I'm gonna be live every single day for this month. I'm gonna try and go hard every single day. So I love you. You love me. Give me a like and a subscribe, and you'll see. We'll do great things. We'll head to the skies. And if you don't, I might just break your fucking eyes. I'm just playing. Don't strike me, YouTube. All right. Yeah. Buff Chubbians, we out. I'm your skinny deficient homie. Chubbington the third. I like that though. Yeah, I saw the Two-Face. I might do the Two-Face. Dana said I'm kind of scared. Yeah, it'd be like that. All right, man. Well, look, I love you guys. If y'all want to rock with me, you can rock with me anytime on the channel. If you hit the bell, it'll notify you for when I go live next time. And I hope you guys have fun. I have fun. We're going to do this again tomorrow, y'all. Don't forget to support in any way that you want to. Check out the TikTok. I do be posting TikToks throughout the day. I like to tell people that we're going live there. Check out the Facebook. All of our socials are on my YouTube page. But without further ado, man, I love y'all. Oh, and here, let me leave y'all with this. Hold on. Let me leave y'all with this. I would be the only one who will have nightmares. No, Death Row. I'll see you tonight. You play with fire, you might get burned. I'm just playing. I love you. I hope I didn't traumatize you too much. All right, though, y'all. I love y'all, man. We out.